Hi, I'm Dr. Tracey Liebman, and we're going to be discussing representative teaching cases from a Delphi consensus study. To give you a bit of background, we developed expert-validated, consensus-based dermoscopy proficiency expectations for dermatology residents. In essence, we wanted to figure out what dermoscopy experts felt was important for dermatology residents to know in the realm of dermoscopy by the time they finished their residencies. To that end, we performed a two-phase modified Delphi method survey of 26 pigmented lesion and dermoscopy experts to achieve agreement on which diagnoses, associated dermoscopic features, and teaching images should be used to form the basis of a curriculum in dermoscopy for dermatology residents. We used all of this information to develop a dermoscopy educational website for dermatology residents to use for self-study. This website is called Dermoscopedia Academy, and you can find it at the link below. On Dermoscopedia Academy, you can find all of this information with all the diagnoses, features, and images. And today, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a sample of what we put together. Let's take a look at this lesion. What really jumps out to me here is the network. So some areas are a little bit thinner, some areas have a little bit of a thicker, heavier network. And this is a great example of that atypical pigment network that you can see in a melanoma. Here are 4 other exemplar images that you'll be able to find on our website, Dermoscopedia Academy. Atypical pigment network is one of those important features to know in melanoma. And you can see here the rest of the list of those important dermoscopic features to know for melanoma. In this melanoma, on the right side of the lesion, we see white shiny lines at perpendicular angles to one another. These are white shiny lines or crystalline structures. These can be seen in all of the 4 images on the screen here that are all melanomas. These are particularly seen in invasive melanomas. In this melanoma, let's focus on the periphery. So you can see some irregularly distributed streaks, and you can also see some lines with a little circle or almost a little club or head at the end of it. These irregular lines at the periphery are known as irregular streaks. When you see the line with a little circle or head at the end of it, that's called the pseudopod. This melanoma has many colors in it. In the center, you see some blue, white, and gray areas. In these melanomas here, you might see a blue-white veil or blue-gray structures, and we kind of combine all of that under the term of blue structures. In this melanoma, let's focus on the globules. In irregular nevus, you might see globules that are evenly spread throughout the lesion, but this is a little different. We're seeing globules just kind of hanging out irregularly on the left side of the lesion here. These would be considered irregular dots or globules, where you see globules just randomly in the lesion, not in a particular nice, even pattern. In this next melanoma, the highlight of the dermoscopy are really these lines. So you see these gray-brown lines, and many of them are at angles to one another. These lines, which you can see in all of these 4 lesions to different degrees, are known as angulated lines. These are particularly seen in extrafacial lentigo maligna on the background of sun-damaged skin. We're going to move on and switch gears to basal cell carcinoma. Here's a list of 8 features that were found to be the important features to know for basal cell carcinoma. In these images, you can see the leaf-like structures, which is a classic finding in basal cell carcinomas. In BCCs, you can also have white shiny blotches and strands. In contrast to melanoma, where we had the white shiny lines at perpendicular angles to one another, in BCCs, these white shiny areas are more blotchy areas and then some wispy lines. Blue-gray ovoid nests are another essential feature to know for BCCs, particularly pigmented ones. You'll see these oval or circular areas of a blue-gray pigment.
The classic type of blood vessels seen in BCCs are arborizing blood vessels. You'll see these vessels look almost like the branches of a tree, and they're very sharply in focus. Next, I'd like to move on to the overview of benign nevi patterns. We know it's very important to be able to recognize malignant skin lesions when you're using dermoscopy, but it's also really important to be able to identify normal nevi patterns. One of the most common benign patterns in nevi that you'll see on dermoscopy is a network pattern. We like to call this either a network pattern or a reticular pattern, but you can think of it almost like strings of a tennis racket. And with a diffuse network pattern, this is a normal finding. The globular pattern is another key feature to know when recognizing normal nevi. With the globular pattern, you'll see these brown, circular structures evenly spaced throughout the lesion. Globular nevi are typically seen in children. Moving on to squamous cell carcinomas. On dermoscopy of SECs, you can see a yellow keratin mass or scale crust, which you can see on the left. You can see white circles or keratin pearls. You can see the rosette sign, which is 4 white points shaped like a 4-leaf clover. The blood vessel type that you'll see would be glomerular or coiled vessels. Sometimes you can see some hairpin vessels with a whitish halo. And you can see ulceration, blood spots, or hemorrhage. The classic features to look for in a seborrheic keratosis would be the white milia-like cysts, the brown cometa-like openings, those moth-eaten or sharply demarcated borders, the fissures and ridges or cerebriform areas forming gyri and sulci, fat fingers, fingerprint-like structures, and hairpin or looped vessels, which can have a whitish halo. Amelanotic or hypomelanolic melanomas can be challenging to diagnose. The features you'll look for would be the scar-like white depigmentation, the milky red areas, the white shiny lines or crystalline structures at 90 degrees to one another, and an atypical vascular pattern or polymorphous vessels, meaning 2 or more types of blood vessels in one lesion. So you've seen some great examples of images from our website, and you can go to our Dermoscopedia Academy website to see more. In summary, we developed this standardized dermoscopy curriculum for United States dermatology residents and created this free web-based high-yield resource for self-study, and it's all based on a validated consensus of dermoscopy experts. I'd love to thank all of our dermoscopy experts who are involved in this great undertaking, as well as our medical student research fellows.